Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. Got a couple things to talk about on this final edition for 2023. And of course, always you get to the end of the year and you think about your journey over the past year and things you've done, things you've seen, and things you want to do in the future. You know, the funny part is that from 2022 to 2023, my life has changed somewhat, but I'm back in radio full-time, which is great. I was able to do some things this year that I hadn't done in quite a while. One of them was visit my native New Jersey in the summertime, but the vacation was way too short. I'm going to have to go again. We traveled a lot. We did a lot of different things. Gotta say, it's been a good year, and I hope you had a good year, and you look forward to 2024. One of the things to look forward to here in Georgia, if you notice my shirt, WAWA. Supposedly, they are going to start opening stores in Georgia. There have been a couple of news stories over the course of the last couple of weeks, which my friends have copied me on. Everybody knows how much I love WAWA. And there's supposed to be a store coming close to where I live. I live in Savannah. Pooler is off of Interstate 95. It's about 10 miles away. And there is a store location that WAWA is starting the planning process for. Now, there was an article in the paper that said the town administrator for Pooler said that they had not approved the plans yet. So the race is on for the first WAWA in Georgia. The story is perhaps it's going to be in Bainbridge, which is near I-75. That's a little far away from me, but there are two stores planned in Hinesville, which is not that far away. So wherever the first store is near me, you better believe I'll be there day one. I'm hoping to be one of the first people to get there, but WAWA, you need to bring a store to Savannah. Of course, if that's the case, I'll go broke. But yeah, never mind. By the way, I got the shirt. Sandy got a pair of fuzzy WAWA socks for Christmas. Went to the movies and saw Ferrari, which was a movie I was looking forward to. I had heard about it. It is about Enzo Ferrari, who is a mythical figure in auto racing. Ferrari, of course, Formula One, it's an iconic brand, and the struggles that they had to rebuild the car manufacturer from the ashes of World War II, stunning. But this movie takes place in 1957, when the Italian automaker was going through some rough financial times. And it's an interesting story because Enzo Ferrari is an interesting guy. Now, he was married and had a wife, and they had a child who died from muscular dystrophy. This is back in the 40s and 50s. He had a mistress who he had a child with, and one of the deal, he stayed with his wife, but one of the deals was he could not recognize the son until after her death. And the story goes that when his wife died, his son took his last name, and his son now is chairman with Ferrari. He still is associated with Ferrari after all these years. Adam Driver is his star. Penelope Cruz plays his wife, and Shailene Woodley plays his mistress in the movie. The movie also centers around a race that took place in Italy, and it was in 1957. There was a very serious crash involving one of the Ferraris that killed a number of spectators, and as a result, this auto race was stopped. Italian authorities outlawed it. It was a race around. It was like a 1,000-mile race. And so that part of the story is true. The only thing was they kind of played with the storyline a little bit. You'll recall in the movie Ford versus Ferrari, Ford tried to buy Ferrari, and Ferrari was able to use that as leverage to get Fiat to invest in them. Well, they kind of used that in this movie, but it's not. It wasn't. The time was not right. Ford did try to buy Ferrari. That was in the early part the 1960s, not in 1957, but again, it's a movie, right? The other problem I have, they're showing TV coverage of this race. No, didn't happen. I didn't even do radio coverage back then. Come on. Oh, that just really upsets me. I mean, I get it. People think it's true, but no, they didn't do this. They didn't have live coverage of stuff back then. This is in television's so-called infancy to a certain extent, and they didn't have the remote capabilities that they have today. Ferrari's pretty good. Adam Driver does a good job in the movie. It is hard to follow. Sandy did not like it. She said it was very slow and just she didn't get it. And it's not. I wouldn't say it is a fantastically wonderful movie. Ford versus Ferrari was a great movie, and it's tough to kind of meet that because that movie was, again, an auto racing movie. And as an auto racing fan, there wasn't a lot of auto racing in this. Again, as I said, it was built around this one race, and this was a small part of the movie. It was more of a personal story. It talked about Enzo and his life and how he dealt with it. Again, I recommend it if you want to go, but don't go there expecting to be wowed. There are other movies, and I will say one thing. It seems like the box office for Christmas weekend, very healthy. A lot of folks going to the movies on Christmas. In fact, they were reporting one of the area cinemas was basically sold out. And last night we found that they were sold out. The Color Purple, very popular in this area, but you also have the Wonka movie and you also have Aquaman. So hopefully folks can get back into the habit of going to the movies. I mean, we did an old thing. We used to always buy the annual tub bucket. You get them for going to the movies, and then you just refill the bucket for like $4. That's the deal. We did that for many years, but of course we stopped going to the movies, so we never did that. So now the local NCG cinema has picked that up, and we bought a bucket last night. So we're back into it. But again, a couple of movies coming up that I think we want to see. And of course, you refill the bucket for $4. It's not a bad deal. Of course, it is popcorn though. And that's going to do it for Tripp's Take for December the 28th, 2023. I wish you nothing but the best in the coming new year of 2024. I'd love to hear your comments and questions about my podcast. All you got to do is email trippstake@gmail.com. Fantasy football players, it is the last week of the regular season, championship week for most leagues. Be on the lookout for my other podcast, Fantasy Sultans with the Hall of Famer Mike Sheck. It's also on Spotify for podcasters and on YouTube. Just search Fantasy Sultans. Like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, give a listen to my online radio station, WTRSradio.com. Join me again next week. Until then, Happy New Year. For now, I'm Tripp Rogers. Thanks for watching. Make it a great one.